Here's a quick tutorial on the Gabriel Environmental Rescue website. It's GabrielEnvironmentalRescue.com. We have opened up to the home page, and on the home page you can see all the categories across the top that you can step into. And if you scroll down on the home page, it goes to a cube of different photos and pictures of different equipment that exist for LNG, CNG, and all the products that we're about to bring out onto the marketplace. And then we can come back up to the home page, the flared gas map. That'll take you and open up to Sky Truth. Gas flaring, it first pops up with the United States. You can use that map and you can actually go in, you can zoom, and you can go to South America and look at the flaring there. You can pull back on it and zoom back by hitting the plus and minus. You can see the flaring across the whole world in Europe, and you can still zoom back in and you can see that each of those dots as you zoom in, say here in Africa, that you can keep zooming in until you see that the thing that looks like is a few dots is many dots all close together. Those are all the gas flares that you can find throughout the world. And then we'll go a 7-year plan. It'll eliminate 1 trillion square feet of greenhouse gases, 100 billion square feet of unburnt methane, and 200 million square feet of unburnt ethane, and tons of black carbon. Now as you scroll down on the 7-year plan, you will see that we have 5 new fuels that we take out of the flared gas. Now we'll go to the equipment, and we'll start with the liquefaction equipment from Air Products that we're going to use. And then we come in and show you the 3 different sizes of liquefaction plants that we're putting out in North Dakota and in Texas. And then we'll go back to the equipment and we'll click on the cryo boxes. They're the smallest of the liquefaction equipment we have, fit right on the backs of semi trucks. Hooks up to flare. It averages about 8,500 gallons a day. You can also take this and put it on a wellhead and it'll produce 10,000 gallons per day. And then we go to the next section, which is Kinder Morgan. Kinder Morgan do multiple things, and they also have a number of the pieces of equipment to pre-treat. They also are in the gas lines. They run the lines, they run the equipment, the gas, and turn it into pipeline ready methane. All right, and then you can go into the gas turbines, electric power section. It'll click on and it'll bring up, show you a picture of a gas turbine that exists, and then we have a PDF of all the different turbines that exist from 2 to 600,000 megawatts. We're going to take one of the world's biggest environmental hazards and turn it into 5 new environmentally friendly fuels. Each of our environmentally fuels will make a negative environmental impact. Our first fuel is EFLNG, environmentally friendly liquefied natural gas. It is up to 4% cleaner and 8% more powerful than LNG that's on the market today. EFLNG will replace diesel fuel, and as you can see, Cummins already has existing engines that can be replacements or in existing trucks that they sell right now that exceed the Clean Air Act standard of 2027. The second fuel is EFCNG. EFCNG is produced by EFLNG by taking the liquid and turning it into a gas. 1 gallon of EFLNG turns into over 2 CNG gallons. You can also see that Ford makes a 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder, and 10-cylinder engine that'll run on EFCNG. The third fuel is EFEPG, environmentally friendly electric power gas. EFEPG can be run through gas turbines, and the turbines can generate from 2 megawatts to 593 megawatts of power. We will also use EFEPG to produce electric power to run our equipment out in the field. The fourth environmentally friendly fuel is EFLPG, environmentally friendly liquid propane gas. EFLPG is already considered an environmentally friendly fuel, and it is not regarded as a greenhouse gas, and it is approved as a clean energy source by the 1990 Clean Air Act. EFLPG can be used in vehicles. It can also be used in homes to replace gas stoves, and it can also be used for heating in homes. And you can even go down and see how EFLPG compares to electric power. And the fifth fuel is EFLBG, environmentally friendly liquid butane gas. It is also not considered a greenhouse gas and is listed as an approved clean energy source by the 1990 Clean Air Act. EFLBG is also the most powerful of the gases. 1 cubic foot of natural gas creates 1,012 BTUs. 1 cubic foot of EFLPG creates 2,520 BTUs, and 1 cubic foot of EFLBG creates 3,200 BTUs. Alright, then you can go back to your main page, and we can click on our charities section. It comes up to our His First Team web page, where we go through and we can show you can watch the videos and stuff there. But here's some of the things that we did in Africa over the last 2 years. We put roofing on outhouses in Hue, Africa. We brought food in and distributed food. We brought these solar lights in and distributed them out, that you could put them out during the day for those that didn't have electric power, and they put out enough light to light the inside of a room up during the night. We also put out screening, to put screening on the windows to protect from mosquitoes and malaria and other sicknesses and diseases. We also have put out the water treatment containers, have our own water treatment containers that aren't just one Africa's, that we can put out throughout Africa, and it cost us about $65 to put out, and it does enough to do 100,000 gallons of water. Sickness and disease from water is about 35% of the deaths in Africa. And then we also have our Hope for African Children, that we go out and we help fund these children for schooling. These are street children, orphans, that we bring out. We bring them in, we give them a Christian education, and it's in West Africa. We also have in Rwanda, we have opened up a new office in 2021 where we teach in English classes. We have a college professor that we've hired that teaches English in our classes, give them a lunch while they're there during their teaching. And we also have started doing some programs that we started doing some cosmetology. And we have hair glasses. This is for job training, so that they can go out. We have purchased hair dryers. They cut hair, they can weave hair, and we bring people in and try to give them a way that they can get out of poverty and get some job training and be able to go out and have a form of income. And then you can go back to the His First Team site. You can click on, this is Rabbi Rory K, and you can see his story, and you can see all of our projects that we're doing. Here he is meeting with the rabbis that own property on Mount Zion. We have a number of programs that we're going to be doing on Mount Zion.
Shalom. Shalom from Jerusalem and the top of Mount Zion. This is Raphael Cohen Tzedek. That's my Hebrew name, Rory K. Coming to you to talk about an exhibit that we're in the process of setting up here of the Ark of the Covenant. Wanted you to see the view. There we've got Mount Zion behind me, where the Messiah will come to us.
As well as we're going to have other projects on Mount Zion, including a 10,000-seat worship center that we're building right there on Mount Zion. So that shows you some of our Israel his first team is part of. And then we can go back to the website, and if you want to contact us, we have a section that you can come in and contact us. Pick a category if you have issues with this or that. Just make sure that when you go down that you click, after you put your contact information, click that you're not a robot, and then we will get that in an email form into our offices. And you can also sign up for the Gabriel Environmental Rescue newsletter. It's not being produced yet, but it will be later this year. If you want to sign up for it, you can just click in and sign up for it as well. And then we can go right back to the main page on our website, and you can click on that, and then we have our video on Gabriel Environmental Rescue. And if you click on that, it goes right into this video. I'd like to thank all you for taking the time to come and see what we're doing in America and around the world to make the world a safer place to live, and at the same time reach out across the world with the gospel of the kingdom. God bless.
For the last 20 years, we have been warned that we must decrease carbon emissions before it's too late.
Human activities like deforestation and the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas are changing our climate in ways that pose increasing threats to human well-being.
You have to understand the enormity of this issue, not only for climate change, but the fragility of our dependence on imported oil.
Impacts of human-caused climate change are happening now.
Today's IPCC report is a necklace of human suffering and a damning indictment of failed climate leadership.
It's time to stop just talking about this and get it done. And we can do that. With our new innovations and technologies, Gabriel Environmental Rescue can dramatically reduce the carbon emissions that we have across the United States and around the entire world. We'll begin with one of the world's biggest environmental hazards produced by the oil companies globally, flare gas. Here is a satellite view of flare gas from 2021 until the present. This is produced by the Earth Observation Group of the Colorado School of Mines Research University. Flare gas is a worldwide environmental hazard. Gas flares contain methane, ethane, propane, butane, pentane, nitrogen, and the number one cause of air pollution-related deaths in the world, black carbon. Gas flares are under extremely high pressure, causing more than 10% of the gases to escape unburnt. Each year, there is released globally 145 billion cubic meters of flare gas emissions, including 14.5 billion cubic meters of unburnt methane, millions of cubic meters of black carbon, and 10.2 million cubic meters of unburnt ethane. North America has hazardous gas flaring in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. In 2020, North America flared 20.6 billion cubic meters of greenhouse gas emissions. Well, this contained 2.1 billion cubic meters of unburnt methane, 140 million cubic meters of unburnt ethane, and millions of cubic meters of black carbon. South America has hazardous gas flaring in Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, and Argentina. And in 2020, South America flared 13.4 billion cubic meters of greenhouse gas emissions. This includes 1.3 billion cubic meters of unburnt methane, 80 million cubic meters of unburnt ethane, and millions of cubic meters of black carbon. There are thousands of gas flares across our world. In Russia, China, the United Kingdom, India, across the Gulf of Thailand and South China Sea, across the Middle East, in Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Oman, and Yemen. Africa has hazardous gas flaring in Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, the Congo, Gabon, Cameroon, and Nigeria. In 2020, Africa flared 26.8 billion cubic meters of flare gas emissions. This includes 2.7 billion cubic meters of unburnt methane, 189 million cubic meters of unburnt ethane, and millions of cubic meters of black carbon. In the Nigerian Delta, gas flaring has become one of the worst environmental hazards in the world. The Nigerian government has, as a result, outlawed gas flaring and placed heavy and large fines on the European oil companies that flare in the Delta. But the oil companies simply pay the fines and refuse to do anything about this catastrophe. There are more air pollution-related deaths in Nigeria than any other country in the world. Gabriel Environmental Rescue technology, we can capture all of these gas emissions and black carbon. It's time to stop this global crisis. Gabriel Environmental Rescue, God-given innovations and technologies to combat climate change and save the world.